Section 1. The system wants you broke. You're not supposed to be rich. That's the uncomfortable truth. The system, the one you were born into, is designed to keep you in a cycle of struggle. A cycle where you trade your most valuable asset, your time, for just enough money to survive, but never enough to escape. From the moment you get your first job, you're told to work hard, clock in, clock out, and repeat. You work 40, 50, maybe even 60 hours a week. But what happens to your paycheck? Before you even touch it, the government takes its cut through taxes, then rent or mortgage, utility bills, student loans, credit cards, groceries, gas. The money disappears. And by the end of the month, you're right back where you started, broke, tired, and hoping next month will be better. This isn't an accident, it's by design. You were never taught how to invest. You were never taught how to build wealth, how to start a business, how to use money as a tool for freedom. No, what you were taught was how to memorize facts, obey authority, and follow the rules without question. Andrew Tate said it best. If you were born poor, it's not your fault, but if you stay poor, it is. Because once you see the trap, staying in it becomes your decision. The education system, think about it. You spend over a decade inside schools, but never once are you shown how money works. You're not taught about assets, liabilities, cash flow, or financial independence. Instead, you're taught how to be an employee, how to be a follower. Why? Because a population that understands money cannot be controlled. A financially educated person is dangerous. They can't be easily manipulated. They question authority. They build their own lives. And that terrifies those at the top. So the first part of the psychological trap is financial desperation. As long as you're broke, you're easy to manage. You'll accept low wages. You'll work overtime without complaining. You won't speak up when things feel wrong, because you can't afford to lose your job. You have bills, you have debt. You need that paycheck. And that's the point, it's control through dependence. You think you're free because you have a job. But in reality, your entire life is dictated by fear. Fear of not having enough money, fear of losing your livelihood, fear of stepping out of line. When people are poor, they don't make revolutions. They don't take risks. They don't stand up. They focus on survival. And when you're in survival mode, you're not thinking about greatness. You're thinking about how to get through the next week. The system doesn't care about your potential. It cares about your productivity. It wants you running on the hamster wheel forever. That's why Tate and others like him speak out. Not because they hate the system, but because they've seen the truth behind it. And they're trying to wake people up. Because once you understand that the system wants you broke, you can begin the journey to break out of it. Section 2. The War on Masculinity and Strength. Now let's talk about weakness, because the system doesn't just want you broke, it wants you weak, especially if you're a man. From every direction, media, movies, school, and even social media, masculinity is being attacked. Strength is mocked, discipline is questioned, and ambition? That's labeled as toxic. You're told that being aggressive is dangerous, that having confidence makes you arrogant, that striving for greatness is a sign of ego. But here's the truth. Andrew Tate keeps repeating. Strong men are dangerous to the system, because strong men think for themselves, they protect their families, they lead, they build, and most importantly, they can't be controlled. That's a problem for those in power. See, when you're physically strong, mentally sharp, and emotionally disciplined, you don't look to the government or anyone else to save you. You don't cry for help. You create your own path. You don't follow the crowd. You lead it. But instead of building strength, society wants to break it down. Look around. Boys grow up playing video games instead of sports, eating fast food instead of real meals, watching Netflix instead of reading books, watching porn instead of building real relationships. Their time, energy, and attention are consumed by digital pleasure. And as that happens, they lose their edge. Their testosterone drops. Their ambition dies. Their ability to fight, build, and lead disappears. Andrew Tate puts it bluntly. They want you fat, lazy, emotional, and addicted. Because when you're weak, when you've given up control of your body, mind, and emotions, you become predictable. And predictable people are easy to manage. Weak men don't fight back. They don't take risks. They follow orders, stay quiet, and hope someone else saves them. That's what the system wants. A generation of soft, obedient men, stripped of their strength, numbed by comfort, and too afraid to take action. But here's the part they don't want you to hear. Strength is a choice. You don't have to live like this. You don't have to be what they want you to be. You can choose to train your body. You can choose to sharpen your mind. You can choose to build discipline, resilience, and leadership. It's not easy. It won't be fun. But it will make you powerful. And powerful men don't live on their knees. So while the world tries to soften you, weaken you, and control you, you can fight back. And that fight starts by choosing strength over comfort and purpose over pleasure. Because the war on masculinity is real, and the only way to win is to become too strong to be broken. Section 3, Mind Control Through Fear and Guilt. Let's go deeper. What happens when you start to break free from the system? When you begin to think differently, act independently, and chase real freedom? You get attacked. Not physically, not with weapons, but with something far more powerful, fear and guilt. The system doesn't need to use force, it uses emotion. It gets inside your mind and convinces you that stepping out of line makes you dangerous, that wanting more makes you greedy, that being confident makes you arrogant. If you reject the 9 to 5, you're labeled lazy. If you seek financial freedom, you're called materialistic. If you speak your truth, you're told to be quiet for the sake of peace. But what they're really doing is shaming you into submission. Andrew Tate says it perfectly. They don't need to put you in a cage, they put the cage in your mind. This is psychological warfare. Fear is the #1 weapon. Fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of being canceled, fear of standing alone, fear of losing everything. And then comes guilt, the emotional chain that keeps you from ever fighting back. You feel bad for wanting to be rich. You feel wrong for chasing power. You feel selfish for putting yourself first. But let me tell you the truth, you're not selfish for wanting more, you're awake. You see what others don't. And that threatens the system, because once one person breaks free, others might follow. That's why they need to scare you back into the box. That's why they attack your character, not your actions. Think about it. Most people don't live the life they want, not because they can't, but because they're too afraid. Afraid to stand out, afraid to be criticized, afraid to fail in public. So what do? They settle, they shrink, they play it safe, they stay silent. All while convincing themselves that this is what they really wanted. But deep down they know they gave up because of fear. They obeyed because of guilt. And now they live in a prison built entirely in their own mind. The saddest part? That prison has no walls, no locks, the door's wide open, but they never leave. Because leaving means being different, being judged, being uncomfortable. But if you want to escape this system, you have to be willing to let go of the fear. You have to stop letting guilt define your choices. Because the moment you break free from the emotional chains, they lose all control over you. Section 4, Escaping the Trap, Reclaiming Your Power. So what's the way out? How do you break free from a system that's been designed to keep you poor, weak, and controlled? According to Andrew Tate, it all starts with one simple truth. No one is coming to save you. That's not just a motivational quote. It's the foundation of real freedom. The trap you were born into will never unlock itself. No politician, teacher, or social movement will hand you the keys. If you want out, you have to take full responsibility for your life. That means no more blaming your parents, the government, your job, or your circumstances. The moment you stop pointing fingers is the moment you start taking power back. Step 1, build discipline. Discipline is the root of all power. Without it, you're just a slave to your impulses. You have to start waking up early, training your body, eating clean, reading books, and eliminating distractions. You must become the master of your habits, because your habits shape your future. The world is full of lazy, distracted people who can't focus for more than 5 minutes. If you can train your mind and body to operate on a higher level, you've already separated yourself from 90% of the population. Step 2, learn money skills. School never taught you how to get rich, and that was intentional. So now it's on you. You need to learn the skills that actually create wealth. That means understanding how to sell, how to market, how to invest, how to build a business online, how to create multiple streams of income. The moment you stop trading time for money and start building value that multiplies, you begin to break the system's grip on you. Money is not evil. Poverty is. Because poverty keeps you trapped. Financial freedom gives you the power to think, act, and live on your terms. Step 3. Build resilience. The road out of the trap is hard. You will fail. You will be judged. You will be criticized. But you must keep going. Every great person in history was once called crazy, arrogant, or dangerous until they succeeded. If you can't handle being uncomfortable, you'll never grow. You have to get used to rejection, to pain, to setbacks. That's where real power is forged. Not in comfort, but in chaos. Andrew Tate says it best. No one is coming to save you. You must become the hero of your own story. It's not about being lucky. It's about being relentless. The system wants obedient followers. But if you're willing to take ownership, build yourself up, and fight for your freedom, you become unstoppable. The trap exists, but so does the key. And it's been in your hands all along. Section 5, the final warning, wake up before it's too late. Here's the truth most people avoid their entire lives. If you don't take control of your life, someone else will. Every second you waste scrolling on your phone, sleeping in late, or chasing temporary pleasure, someone out there is using that same time to build, to grow, to get ahead. And one day, you'll look around and realize they're living the life you wanted because they made the hard choices you didn't. The trap isn't a theory, it's real, it's working, and it's everywhere. Millions of people are walking through life like zombies, working jobs they hate, living paycheck to paycheck, hating their reflection in the mirror, living with anxiety, regret, and quiet desperation. Not because they're incapable, but because they believed the lie that said, just follow the rules and everything will work out. But it doesn't, and deep down you know it. The system wants you tired, broke, distracted, and emotionally broken. It wants you afraid to speak, afraid to act, afraid to think. But it's not too late. You can wake up. You can fight back. Start now, get serious. Train your body like your life depends on it, because it does. Train your mind like it's your greatest weapon, because it is. Build wealth, discipline, and a life of purpose. Stop reacting. Start creating. Because if you don't, the system will keep you exactly where it wants you. Poor, weak, controlled. And that's not what you were born for. You were born to lead, to fight, to win. But no one's going to hand you that life. You have to take it. So ask yourself right now, are you going to stay asleep? Or are you going to wake up before it's too late? But outro, call to action. If this message lit a fire in you, share it. Let the world know you're done being controlled. Drop a comment below saying, I'm not a slave. Let's flood the algorithm with strength, not weakness. With truth, not fear. And remember, motivation fades, discipline doesn't. So hit that like button, smash subscribe for more real talk, and stay locked in. This is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next one.